So this is where I am in Norway, just somewhere up in the mountains here. And I've come to see this medieval Stave church here, believed to be built around 1130. Look at this. Incredible church with incredible history. I'm going to show you all inside and explain to you some of that history. Some of it kind of odd. It was kind of a common practice before it was banned at the turn of the 19th century. People would want to bury their children underneath the church. That was banned because of the smell. But this is it. I'll show you inside. So these Stave churches, they were all built on very basic stone foundations, which you probably remember if you watched the last video of the other Stave church, but remember that one was rebuilt. This is original, very, very old. This is tar, by the way. These were all painted by tar to protect it. And over time, the rain washes that away. As you can see, it starts to expose the wood, so it needs to be done again. I don't know how often they get done, but that's why it kind of has that look, which I think is really interesting. Yeah, these are, these posts are they're over 1,000 years old. A lot of interesting things going on. The woman also said that if you look up in the ceiling, it's basically like an upside down boat. And they knew from their ships, they knew that if they made a roof the same way that they made their boats, that since the boats float, that it would make a great roof. So basically, that design, you're looking at kind of an upside down old ship. I mean, it wasn't ever a ship, but it's the same construction, the same design. In the middle here is actually a grave, a tomb. It was someone high up in the military. It was his wife that he had entombed here. These sections here, some of them were shutters, but then these old sections here, this was all original floor. Again, from 1100s. Most people believe that these pegs were they hung tapestries at some point. That's what the people believe, the historians here. Yeah, these shields up here, they were like very wealthy people, wealthy families from different countries even, I believe, that maybe stayed here for a time or whatever. So there's very few of these Stave churches left, but I believe this one in particular is the only one that has the partition between the altar up there and where people would sit. I'm not sure why. There was never a door here. It was open, but for some reason they had it somewhat walled off. So one of their crown jewels, I mean there's a bunch of them in here, but one of them are these murals up here. I believe they were from the 1300s. So this is still on some sort of a tapestry, hand painted and believed to be, like I said, 1300 years old. You can see Jesus, his head is on the very top there, and You can see Jesus being born. A bunch of other ones that I don't remember that the lady was telling me. So that's the king. And that's the queen. The king looks pretty mad though. And that's Jesus up there. Okay. Yeah, so Jesus is watching everybody. This dude is watching you too. He's mean mugging you. This is 3 different languages. At one time, Norway had 3 different languages. I think now they really only use 2. But basically this was created before school even existed. So it's thought that the priest would give the sermon in different languages, and then the people probably learned how to read by being able to identify with, the words, with what he said. I guess he would say it in 3 different languages. So I got something really interesting for you. This door right here, it's a door, it's a window, whatever, but what do you think that was for? Now, there's all kinds of ideas and guesses, but the woman who was showing us around said that this was made for people who had leprosy, who couldn't come in this church, so they could still look in and they could hear the sermon. And there's actually some holes too that maybe possibly they could put their ears next to or look through. They would basically just stand around in there. Now she thinks it also could have been if people were very poor. Maybe they didn't have the money for donations to the church, or they didn't have the right clothes, but that was just her idea. It's believed that it was for people with leprosy. So this church, in some ways, is still in use today. They still use the cemetery outside. They don't do funerals here because it's very small. The doors are very narrow. You have to kind of step in. But I believe there are some services that are held here related to St. John. I don't know how many or how often, but probably at least once a year they do something here. They do certain concerts sometimes, and then they do weddings. Which, who wouldn't want to get married in this awesome church? This is amazing. Oh yeah, so this back wall, that's right. So she said that this back wall or the side wall was painted at one time, and there you go. It just has, you can just see a little bit of the mural with the trees. Look at this walk. That is awesome.
Maybe it's a myth, but
So there you go, the Hopperstad Stave Church, one of only 28 left. And hopefully it stays that way for a while, because these are amazing. They're incredible to see. And no nails, no glue, just dovetailed together, put together like this. Incredible. All right, I'm gonna go get some lunch at this beautiful area down here, this town. See you in the next video.